Close your eyes and imagine this moment. It is a sunny day in June, 1815. The place is a battlefield in Belgium. The ground is wet from the rain. The air is heavy with smoke. Thousands of soldiers stand in lines. Many wear red coats. They hold muskets. They wait in silence. Across the field, another army stands ready. Many of them wear blue coats. They are led by the most famous man in the world. His name is Napoleon. He is the Emperor of France. He is a military genius. He has conquered many countries. People fear him. People believe he cannot lose. But on the other side, there is another man. He is not as famous as Napoleon. He is not flashy. He does not like crowds. He stands calm. He watches the field carefully. He is waiting for the right moment. His name is Arthur Wellesley, but history will remember him as the Duke of Wellington. This is the moment that will change Europe forever. This is the Battle of Waterloo. But how did an ordinary boy become this man? How did a student who struggled at school become one of the greatest soldiers of his time? Today, we will walk through his life. We will feel his fears. We will see his struggles. As you listen, notice the new words. This story will help you improve your listening skills. And by the end of this story, you will understand how an ordinary man changed history. So, take a deep breath. Let us go back in time. Let us begin the story of the Iron Duke. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Did Not Fit In. Our story begins in Ireland. The year is 1769. Arthur Wellesley is born in Dublin. His family is noble, but not very wealthy. They have status. They have connections. But that does not mean an easy life. Arthur is not the eldest son. In those days, the eldest son gets everything. He gets the title. He gets the best land. Arthur is just another son. He's not special in his family. Think about this for a moment. Imagine you are a child. You want your parents to notice you. But they look at your older brother. They praise him. You feel invisible. This was Arthur's life. He was often a sickly child. He was quiet. He did not play loud games. He did not laugh much. His mother looked at him and worried. She did not think he was very smart. She once said he might only be fit to be a soldier. She had low expectations for him. This hurts a child's heart. When your family does not believe in you, you start to doubt yourself. Arthur felt this pain. But he did not cry. He did not complain. He withdrew into himself. He became quiet. He became serious. He went to school. First, he studied in Ireland. Then, he went to Eton in England. It was a famous school. Many rich boys studied there. But Arthur was not happy. He was not good at sports. He was not good at making friends. He was lonely. He tried to study, but the lessons were difficult. Latin was hard. Math was hard. He was not a genius. He was just an ordinary boy. In a world of rich and clever students, Arthur felt small. Later, he went to France. He studied at a military academy in Angers. There, he learned to be a soldier. He learned to ride horses. He learned to use a sword. He studied mathematics for artillery. For the first time, he found something he liked. He liked order. He liked rules. He liked structure. In his life, everything felt messy. His family was busy. His school was loud. But the army had rules. If you follow the rules, you know what to do. This gave him comfort. He finished his training. He was ready to begin his career. He was 18 years old. His family bought him a commission in the army. He became an ensign. It was a low rank. He returned to England. He wore his uniform. He looked like a soldier. But inside, he still felt like the boy who did not fit in. He had no clear purpose. He had no clear dream. Many young people feel this today. You finish school, you find a job, but you feel empty. You ask yourself, is this all? Arthur asked the same question. He did not know that his difficult days were only beginning. He did not know that failure was waiting for him. As you listen, notice the past tense verbs: was, felt, went. These words help us talk about the past. Arthur's early life was not a fairy tale. It was simple. It was hard. He was not chosen by destiny. He was just a boy from Ireland, a boy who felt invisible. But this feeling would change him. It would make him strong. It would make him disciplined. Because when you feel you have nothing, you learn to work harder. He stood at the beginning of his journey. The road was long. The road was dark. But that first step would change his life forever. Chapter 2. The Soldier Without a Battle. Arthur joined the army. He hoped for action. He hoped for glory. Young men want to prove themselves. They want to show they are brave. But the army was slow. Peace was everywhere. There were no major wars at that time. Arthur stayed in barracks. He drilled with his men. He marched on the parade ground day after day. It was boring. He felt frustrated. Imagine working hard every day, but never seeing results. You never get to use your skills. This was Arthur's life for years. He felt stuck. He tried to change his life. He asked for a transfer. He wanted to go where the fighting was. But nothing happened. He spent time in Ireland and in England. He felt like he was wasting his life. During this time, he faced another struggle. He fell in love. Her name was Catherine "Kitty" Pakenham. She was kind and gentle. Arthur cared for her deeply. He wanted to marry her. But her family said no. They were wealthier. Arthur was a younger son. He had little money of his own. He had no clear future. Her brother told Arthur to forget her. He said Arthur was not good enough. This was a heavy blow. Think about this moment. The person you love is told you are not worthy. It breaks the heart. Arthur was hurt. But he did not get angry. He did not fight. He accepted it. He told himself, I must become someone. He made a promise. He would not remain ordinary. He would become successful. He would become respected. Then maybe things would change. This pain fueled him. Love can make us weak, but lost love can make us strong. Arthur used this pain. He focused on his work. He stopped looking for fun. He stopped looking for friends. He focused only on his duty. He was later sent to Holland. There was a campaign there. It was not a great success, but it was his first real experience of war. He saw men die. He saw confusion and fear. He learned something important. Most soldiers are afraid. They need a leader. They need someone calm. Arthur was calm. While others panicked, he thought. While others shouted, he observed. He began to understand that victory is not just about bravery. It is about organization. It is about supply lines. It is about knowing where your men are and what they need. But still, he was not famous. He was just another officer. Once again, he felt stuck. He needed a big change. He needed a new place. His brother was rising in politics. He was going to India. At that time, India was a land of opportunity for officers in the British Empire. There was conflict. There was responsibility. There was a chance to prove yourself. Arthur asked to go with him. His brother agreed. This was a lucky break. But luck means nothing without preparation. Arthur was ready. He had waited for years. He had trained. He had endured disappointment. He left England and sailed on a ship. The journey was long. He was far from home. He was far from Kitty. He was alone with his thoughts. As the ship crossed the ocean, Arthur began to change. The boy who struggled at school was fading. The young man who had been rejected was fading. A new man was emerging. He was stronger. He was more disciplined. He was focused. He arrived in India. The heat was intense. The culture was different. The dangers were real. This was no longer practice. This was real life. Many people move to a new place to start again. They leave their past behind. They search for a new identity. Arthur was one of them. He stepped off the ship and looked at the land. He knew this was his chance. He did not know he would stay there for many years. He did not know he would build his reputation there. He only knew one thing. He had to prove himself. This chapter of his life teaches us about patience. Sometimes you wait for a long time. Nothing happens. You feel like giving up, but you must not give up. Your moment is coming. Arthur waited, and finally, the door opened. Chapter 3. The Fire That Forged Steel. India was hot. The sun was fierce. The land was vast. Arthur now held greater command. He had more responsibility. He had to manage men. He had to manage supplies. He learned quickly. He saw that many local armies were large, but often disorganized. They had many soldiers, but no clear plan. Arthur realized something important. Quality is stronger than quantity. A small group of disciplined soldiers can defeat a much larger force without order. He began to test this idea. He led his men into battle. He was strict. He told his soldiers to respect the local people. He ordered them not to steal. He demanded discipline. He also understood something many commanders ignored. Disease killed more soldiers than bullets, so he made sure his men stayed as healthy as possible. This made his army stronger. Other commanders were careless. Their soldiers became sick. Their soldiers lost morale. But Arthur's men trusted him. They knew he cared about their lives. Arthur had already seen action before, including earlier campaigns in India, such as the siege of Seringapatam. These experiences helped shape him, but a greater test was coming. The year was 1803. War had begun against the Maratha Empire. It was a powerful and dangerous enemy. Arthur had to move quickly. He marched his army across difficult land. The roads were poor. The heat was exhausting. Supplies were hard to manage. Every step was a challenge. Then came the moment that would define him. The Battle of Waterloo. This would become one of the most famous battles of his life. Arthur faced a much larger army. The enemy had more soldiers. They had more cannons. The situation looked almost impossible. Imagine standing on an open field. In front of you are thousands of enemy soldiers. You hear drums in the distance. You see flags moving in the wind. Your heart begins to race. Fear tries to take control. But Arthur did not show fear. He looked at his officers and gave clear, calm orders. He made a bold decision. He would attack. Some of his officers hesitated. They believed the risk was too great. But Arthur understood something they did not. Waiting could be even more dangerous. So he moved forward. He led from the front. He rode his horse into battle. Bullets flew past him. Smoke filled the air. The noise was overwhelming. Men fell around him. It was chaos. But his mind stayed clear. He watched the enemy carefully. He studied their lines. Then he saw it. A weakness. At the right moment, he moved his troops to strike that weak point. The fighting was brutal. Many of his soldiers were killed. Many officers fell. It was one of the hardest battles he would ever fight. But in the end, the enemy broke. Arthur had won. This victory changed everything. He was no longer just another officer. He had proven himself. Leaders in Britain began to notice his name. They saw that he was not only brave, but intelligent. He used planning, discipline, and control, not just luck. But victory came with a price. Arthur saw death up close. He saw suffering. He did not celebrate loudly. He did not act like a hero. Instead, he remained quiet. He wrote letters. He reported what happened in a simple and direct way. This was his nature. He was not dramatic. He was practical. He focused on results, not praise. After his years in India, he was a different man. The fire of war had shaped him. It had hardened him. It had made him strong. He now had confidence. He knew he could lead. He knew he could win. He returned to England for a short time. People treated him differently now. They respected him. Those who once doubted him began to change their minds. But inside, Arthur remained the same. He was still quiet, still disciplined, still focused on his work. He did not rest for long. Europe was changing. A new threat was rising. His name was Napoleon. Arthur prepared himself once again. He left India behind. He left the heat and the long campaigns. He turned toward Europe, where a much greater challenge was waiting. The greatest battle of his life was still ahead. As you listen, notice the words that describe feelings: fear, trust, confidence. These words help you understand the emotions in the story. Try to feel what Arthur felt. His time in India was his true education. It was his real training. There, he learned the meaning of leadership. He learned that leadership is about care, discipline, and difficult decisions. These lessons would stay with him forever. And one day, they would help him change history. Chapter 4. The Iron Duke Against the Emperor. Arthur returned to Europe. The year was 1808. He went to Portugal. Napoleon's army was there. The French army was the strongest in the world. They had won many battles. People believed they were invincible. Arthur landed with his troops. He studied the land. He studied the enemy. He understood something important. He could not fight like the French. The French fought with speed and aggression. Arthur fought with patience and control. He built strong defensive positions. He used the hills. He used the rivers. He made the enemy come to him. He let them attack his prepared lines. Then, at the right moment, he struck back. This was the Peninsular War. It lasted for years. It was long and difficult. The weather was harsh. Food was limited. Soldiers were tired. But Arthur never gave up. Over time, he earned a reputation for being strong and unbreakable. People later called him the Iron Duke. He stayed close to his men. He wore simple clothes. He ate simple food. He shared their hardships. The soldiers respected him. They even gave him a nickname, Old Nosey. It was a sign of affection. They knew he was strict, but they also knew he was fair. There were many battles: Vimero, Salamanca, Vittoria. Again and again, Arthur defeated the French. Slowly, step by step, he pushed them back. He helped drive them out of Portugal and Spain. News of his victories reached London. People celebrated. They needed hope. Napoleon had dominated Europe for years. Many believed he could never be defeated. But Arthur proved that he could be stopped. For a moment, it seemed the war was over. Napoleon was defeated and sent away to an island. Europe felt safe again. But that peace did not last. Napoleon escaped. He returned to France. He raised a new army. He was ready to fight once more. This would lead to the final battle, Waterloo. We return to the moment from the beginning. The ground is wet. The air is filled with smoke. Arthur stands with his army. He understands the importance of this day. If he loses, Europe may fall again. If he wins, the long war will finally end. He places his soldiers behind a ridge. This hides them from enemy fire. The French cannons fire again and again. Shells explode above them. Dirt flies through the air. The soldiers lie low, waiting. They are afraid, but they trust their commander. Napoleon attacks. His soldiers move forward with confidence. They look strong. They look unstoppable. Arthur waits. He watches carefully. He measures the moment. Then he gives the order. Now. His soldiers rise. They fire together. A powerful volley. The front line of the French falls. The attack slows. Again and again, the French attack. Again and again, Arthur's army holds the line. It becomes a battle of will. Who will break first? Arthur rides along his lines. He speaks to his men. He stays where the danger is greatest. He does not hide. His calm presence gives them strength. The battle continues for hours. Thousands are killed. The ground is covered with bodies. Smoke fills the sky. The sun disappears behind it. Then, late in the day, help arrives. The Prussian army enters the battle. They are allies. They strike the French from the side. Napoleon's army begins to collapse. The line breaks. The soldiers run. The battle is over. Arthur has won. He sits down quietly on a small hill. He is exhausted. He's not celebrating. He's thinking about the cost. Many good men are dead. He later writes about the battle. He says, "Next to a battle lost, the greatest misery is a battle gained." Even victory brings pain. This shows who he truly was. He was not driven by glory. He was driven by duty. He fought not because he loved war, but because he wanted to end it. After this victory, he became the most famous man in Europe. Kings thanked him. People honored him. Statues were built in his name. He had achieved everything he once dreamed of. But inside, he remained the same man. Calm, simple, disciplined. He remembered the cost of success. He remembered the men who did not return. He understood something many people do not. Success is not only about winning, it is also about what you lose along the way. As you listen, notice how the story moves from struggle to success. This is the journey. It shows that hard work leads to results, but it also shows that every result has a price. Arthur's success was not luck. It was preparation. It was discipline. It was the ability to stay calm when everything around him was falling apart. This is the lesson of his life. When others panic, stay calm. When others fear, stay strong. Chapter 5. The Quiet Man After the Storm. The war was over. Arthur returned to England. He was a hero. The government gave him a title. He was now the Duke of Wellington. He was rich. He was powerful. But what do you do after the war? Many soldiers struggle with this. They're used to action. They're used to danger. Peace feels quiet. Peace feels boring. Arthur went into politics. He became a prime minister. This was a different kind of battle. Here, you fight with words. You fight with laws. You fight with opinions. Arthur was not good at this. He was a soldier. He liked clear orders. Politics is messy. People argue. People lie. People change their minds. Arthur found this difficult. He tried to do his best. He wanted to help his country. But people criticized him. They said he was too strict. They said he was too cold. They did not understand him. He faced riots. He faced angry crowds. They threw stones at his house. They shouted at him. This was hard for him. He had faced cannon fire without fear, but angry words hurt him. He resigned from politics. He stepped down. He realized his place was not in Parliament. His place was in the army. He became the commander of the army. He spent the rest of his life serving. He modernized the military. He helped young officers. He shared his knowledge. He did not rest. Even as an old man, he worked. He lived in a big house called Stratfield-Say. It was quiet there. He rode his horse every day. He read books. He wrote letters. He was alone often. His wife was not always with him. Their marriage was not happy. This was another sadness in his life. He had won everything. But he did not have a happy home. This is a tragedy. Many great people face this. They give everything to their work, but they lose their personal life. Arthur accepted this. He did not complain. He carried his burden. He carried it until the end. He died in 1852. He was 83 years old. It was a long life. When he died, the country mourned. People lined the streets. They wanted to say goodbye. They wanted to thank him. He was buried in St. Paul's Cathedral. This is a place for heroes. His tomb is there today. People visit it. They remember the Iron Duke. What is his legacy? What did he leave behind? He left a lesson on discipline. He showed that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. He was not a genius like Napoleon. He was a hard worker. He prepared, he planned, he executed. He taught us that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting despite fear. He was scared at Waterloo, but he stood his ground. He taught us that character matters. You can be rich, you can be powerful. But if you're not honest, you are nothing. Arthur was honest. He was direct. He kept his word. Today, the world is different. We do not fight battles like Waterloo, but we have our own battles. We have struggles at work. We have struggles in our families. We have struggles inside our minds. Wellington's life speaks to us. It tells us to keep going. It tells us to be disciplined. It tells us to focus on our duty. Imagine you are facing a problem. It seems too big. You feel small. Think of Arthur. Think of the boy in Ireland. He felt small too, but he did not stop. He took one step, then another, then another. You can do the same. Your life is your battle. You are the general of your own army. You must lead yourself. You must be brave. As you listen to this ending, think about your own life. What is your Waterloo? What is the big challenge you face? You have the strength to win. You just need to believe. This story helps you improve your listening skills. You have heard many new words. You have heard many past tense verbs. You have followed a long journey. This is good practice. Keep listening to English stories. It will help you learn. We have reached the end of our journey. We walked with Arthur Wellesley. We saw his childhood. We saw his failures. We saw his great victories. We saw his quiet end. His life was not perfect, but it was meaningful. He served his country. He protected his people. He left the world better than he found it. I hope this story inspired you. I hope you feel a little stronger today. I hope you feel ready to face your challenges. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. It helps us make more stories. Please share it with your friends. Maybe they need to hear this lesson too. We have many more stories for you. Stories of history, stories of life, stories to help you learn English. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your presence means a lot. Now I want to ask you something. Think about this question. What is one struggle in your life right now that you will not give up on? Write your answer in the comments. I read the comments. I want to know your story. Many people will watch this video, but only a few will comment. Be one of them. Share your dream. Share your fight. Let us support each other. Until next time, stay strong. Stay calm. Keep learning. Goodbye.